Hello, it's Graham Cofe with another My Music. Now, remember the days when actually the most disastrous thing that could happen to you in the production of music is that your tape split or your vinyl cracked? Well, today I've had a fight with Spotify, but I've just won. So there you go. Oh, the digital world, it's just too complicated. But don't worry, in a minute I'm going to be speaking to the wonderful Sammie B. After this, which will probably keep you entertained for at least 20 seconds.
Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop.
Sammie, how are you?
I am blessed and grateful. How are you?
I am blessed as well, and I'm very grateful for every day that I'm here.
Yeah.
I know religion's quite a big part in your life, or should I say faith is quite a big part in your life, because
Yeah,
I like to make the distinction there.
Yeah, I would say just spirituality in general is a huge part of my life for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I think we should all realise that spirituality should be a big part of our lives. Are you aware that too many people in this day and age sort of try and sort of cut out the spiritual side of their human side, and actually maybe some of that is to do with religion and actually their misunderstanding about what spirituality actually is?
I agree. Yeah. I feel like that is huge. And I feel like people are doing themselves a disservice by not being more spiritually connected. Even especially if it's because of like the religion thing. I'm not very much religious as I am spiritual and connected. You know what I mean? Like, and just without that, I would be all over the place. I would be sad. I would be confused. Life would be so much harder without
Yeah.
that connection.
Let me explain it in deep theological terms for anybody out there that doesn't really get it. Right? Your spiritual side, that is like music itself, right? Religion is like streaming. All right? Religion is like those streaming services that set a curation and set boundaries on the music, right? There's nothing wrong with the music. It might just be that the curation's wrong. There we go. Now I think that was deeply profound for me at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. But maybe some people might get it a little bit more. Do you know what I mean? If I put it that way.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, what it's about is that there are these different elements to us as people, right? There's we have a physical side, we have a mental side, we have a spiritual side, etc. And all of those parts need to be working together.
Yeah.
And then but people go, oh yeah, but I don't believe in that or whatever, because religion, folks, just like the little dot in the corner of your room that streams the music, is man-made. There you go. So there we go. Well, we got that one out of the way. Life is short. Make your own music. Is that your motto? Is that the thing that you live by?
No, my friend actually got me that as a gift. And
It's a beautiful thing.
I figured where a better place to put it than my music studio.
Absolutely. Oh, you're in your creative space at the moment.
I am, yes.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about your music, because it's quite varied, isn't it, in terms of how you approach music. I don't think anybody could try and pin you down and say you're one thing or another in particular. But where's the starting blocks for you?
Yeah, definitely. I like to kind of identify myself as like a genre defying artist because I simply create whatever I feel. Whatever is inspiring me to create that day is what I create. Like, I don't, just as with spirituality, like there's no boundaries, there's no limits there. It's just a feeling. It's like same thing with the music and creating or even art or one day because I make art as well, one day it'd be a portrait and it's realistic, and the next thing it's abstract. It's whatever I'm feeling, and the music is just the same. But I'll say like the starting point or the foundation came from poetry, and then from the poetry it turned into rap. And so that's really where I started. So it was
Yeah.
like everybody would say, "Oh, you're that rapper, right?" And that's where it started. And it was like that for years until I evolved as an artist and just found myself creating so many different types of genres.
Because you do poetry readings as well, don't you?
Yes, yeah.
You get involved in actual poetry readings. Were you? And it's quite common actually. We've had a lot of people on this program that say that their kind of starting point in music was writing poetry. How young were you when you first started putting the pen to paper?
Middle school.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
Back of the exercise book for you, was it? Scribbling away at the back. When you're meant to be listening in class.
Exactly.
Yeah. What sort of things were you writing about at the time? What were your early forays into writing?
Really for me, so for as long as I could remember, I suffered with depression.
Right.
So for me, it was trying to navigate that. And I really utilized writing poetry as a form of expressing it. Because I also, like, I had such a great life as a kid. I had, like, such an ideal childhood. And so I wasn't aware that I was suffering with mental illness. I just knew, like, I felt this way. And so I had to express it somehow. And I didn't feel comfortable expressing it to people, to my parents at the time, to whomever, because it just didn't make sense as to why I would be sad, why I would have night terrors, and why I would be, you know what I mean? And so like I just wrote about it.
Yeah. Do you feel that there is kind of a disconnect there for a lot of people around mental health, which is that I'm glad you brought this piece up, because actually sometimes obviously when you hear stories you could almost make the kind of sociological connection between where someone is with their mental health and their mental health, because they've had a lot of bad experiences, they've had a bad childhood, etc. And when everything's good around you and you're not feeling good about it, there's a lot of people that go, what's the matter with that person?
Right.
What on earth's going on here? And I'm guessing along the way, and this probably really didn't help you as well, there were a lot of people that didn't believe it, right? There were a lot of people that would have gone, well, buck your ideas up. There's nothing wrong in your life. What have you got to complain about? Did you
Right.
have a lot of that?
Right. I'm honestly not really, because
Right.
it wasn't until I was clearly struggling. I'm talking about in like my dad passed away um when I was like 18, 19 years old. And so it was that's kind of what gave me the reason to be like, hey, I'm struggling, I need help. Because then I felt like I had some type of a reason to be sad. Meanwhile, I had been struggling my whole life, just wasn't comfortable saying it, didn't understand it. I was also confused by it.
Were you trying to mask it all the rest of the time? Were you trying to?
Yeah, for sure. And and from the outside, I looked like so happy-go-lucky, always smiling, and it's just like deep down there was something that wasn't right.
Yeah, there's a weight.
Yeah, it's so weird, and that's just it's hard to explain, but I feel like that kind of gave me the reason, and because that was such a socially acceptable reason to be sad, and that's when I finally came forward with it. It wasn't I didn't really go through the like that type of a thing. There was a couple close friends who kind of knew about it throughout like high school and stuff. Um, but not many people knew.
No. What was the tipping point for you from the the writing about this, the cathartic writing about this in terms of the poetry, etc., into the music? And were there things that you listened to at the time? Were there people, other artists that you heard that you went, not even necessarily from a musical point of view, but you just felt that they were expressing themselves in a way that made sense to you?
Yeah, for sure. Um, so definitely Tupac. That's why I painted this in high school.
There he is. Look at that, folks.
Yeah.
Wow.
Um, Artists like DMX. I opened up for him too, which was like a dream come true. I got to like
Wow.
talk to him and be like, "Thank you for like,
Yeah, yeah.
sharing yourself with the world because your music helped save my life." Artists like Kid Cudi. He was someone that was talking about serious, deep inner like turmoil and struggles that a lot of people weren't. I've never heard people talk about night terrors and seeing ghosts and depression and anxiety, and he was covering all of it. And I was like, wow, he understands. And like that's the power of music, is like the relatability, the connectedness that happens when artists express themselves and you connect. Like that's the whole point of it. Like
That's totally the whole point of it.
yeah.
And now, as an artist, are you getting that experience with people when you perform, when you put your music out there? What's it like on your social media stream? Are you finding a lot of people coming in saying, "Oh man, that's me, that I can relate to," and how does that affect you? Do you have good points with that and bad points with that as well?
Yeah, I feel like there's a duality in everything. And but yes, I experienced that a lot, and for the most part, it's all about perspective too, right? So like it's all amazing to me. It's like wow,
Cool.
it's
Good
touching.
way of thinking about it.
Yeah, like it's beautiful. Um that people can relate. It is sad for certain people to go through things, but that's life. And I think that we all go through things for a reason. But it is beautiful when people reach out, thank you, your music helped me so much, or, what you said here, or whatever the case. That's awesome. And it's always like really touching, and I use it as like motivation to continue doing what I'm doing. So, but then it also comes with like this like responsibility of I need to continue growing, and I need to continue expanding and trying to reach as many people as possible and making the music the best it could be, and and so it's like that pressure that I kind of place upon myself because of all of this outside um, recognition or whatever, man. It's just like I see a vision, and it's big, and I'm not
Right. Yeah,
quite
yeah.
there yet, but it's like so the pressure of that could be something that comes with the duality of it. But the perspective is that it's beautiful, and I'm grateful for my purpose.
In your manifestation of that, in your dreams of that, etc. Where do you see yourself?
So
Right. How big? How massive?
very, very big. Very
That's
big.
cool.
I would love to travel the world, because it's my music isn't just music. It's really like a movement. It's a message of like hope, and because I want people to know that you can go through things in life. You could have this doubt. You could have this like impending doom, and you could still be able to make it through that darkness to the light.
Yeah.
And because I didn't think that that was possible, you know, I was suicidal for a long portion of my life. You know, I even abused drugs because I needed to escape my reality and what I was feeling and numb myself. And I just want people to know that, like, as long as you don't give up on yourself, you have a chance. You know, you could find your purpose and you could live out your dreams, and that's what life's about. And I just want to like share that message with as many people as possible. So I see myself on stages all over, you know, and not just performing, but doing live art and incorporating different instrumentations and dance and speaking a message of that. So
Love that.
incorporating all of it, you know?
I love that. As you develop, not just as an artist, but also as you change as a person, and as you move forward, and you leave some of that baggage behind, how often do you dive back into that in order to bring stuff out, in order to make a point, and then how often are you trying to like balance that with moving forward? Do you understand what I'm saying there?
Yeah, I definitely get it. And so, you know, I had mentioned that I had a substance use disorder as well. So I have been over 6 years clean, sober. And so thank you. It's a blessing. It really is, man.
Yeah.
Um, so
But it's every day, right? So it's every day. You just,
yeah, I
yeah,
maintain it, and it gets so much easier. It really does. It's so much easier to stay sober than it is to get sober. But it's like
right,
once you get over that hump, and then you find this new way of life, and you find this peace, and all of the amazing things and rewards that come with living in alignment with like your highest self, and just one step at a time. It's like I wouldn't give it up for anything, but I don't remember what it was like. I mean, I do remember. I don't forget what it was
right,
like.
right.
I could never forget what it was like. I could very easily remember the pain that I was in, because that's what also keeps me from going and making the wrong decision that could change my life forever. So I'm able to continuously pull my past experiences, and I do when I'm speaking to people on mental illness and substance abuse and things like that. And then, you know, I'm human and life is life, so I'm continually going through struggles or obstacles and opportunities for growth that I get to incorporate into my music. I'm always learning, I'm always evolving. There's always something to write about, to sing about, to rap about, to like, there will
Yeah.
never not be.
Where does the music industry fit into that in terms of where you see it fitting in terms of your growth? Because clearly there's a lot of pressure put on people, and we've seen it
Mm,
massively in the past year or so from the music industry. You only have to look at our own Lewis Capaldi, who has developed Tourette's, and it's it's actually impacted upon his ability to sing live, and he's talked about his mental health, and he's said I've got to take time out to work on me, and the crowds have been very supportive, but at the back of all of that there's a record company going,
what are you doing?
what are you doing? Where
Yeah.
do they fit in? Because I noticed on your Insta and everything as well that you're finding ways of trying to get support, direct support and financial support from the people that you want to reach, as
Right.
opposed to necessarily industry. Where do you see yourself fitting into that model?
Yeah, it's I would like to have my own label, which I do. Um,
Whoa, brilliant.
independent, because independent and pull other people up once I get to a position of being able to do that is really the goal, because I don't, although the main struggle is competing with the millions of dollars of budget and marketing teams, and like what I'm competing with is wild, but I also feel that my purpose is my purpose, my vision is my vision, it's all for a reason, and that I have seen it happen. I have seen artists such as like Russ, for example, Chance the Rapper. There are artists who have gone independent and made it big without the label.
We are getting a definite movement of that within the UK at the moment. I don't know whether you keep an eye on that at all, have seen what's going on, but in this past year we have had 4 or 5 independent artists, some with no management, definitely no label other than their own label, top the charts or get very high up in the charts in terms of album sales or whatever. And it's wonderful to watch this kind of groundswell of support from just people getting behind independent musicians and saying, yeah. And you know, we were doing one the other week. There was a band called the Sherlocks. Hi guys, you know, launched their latest album. We were pushing towards number 1. They got to number 4. Well done.
That's awesome.
In the end. You know, and I was having conversations with people, and some people were saying, yeah, I've bought like 40 copies of the album this week. Just because I just want to see these guys succeed. I just want to make it happen. What they're standing for is brilliant, etc. Does that, all of that give you great hope, does it?
It does. I truly believe like anything is possible. And I stand by that. And I just, whatever's meant to be is going to be. But of course you have to believe in yourself. You have to put in the work. And it's a lot of work. Like when people talk to me about wanting to get into doing this, like making music or being an entrepreneur even, or whatever, I'm like, you know, is this really what you want? Because it is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And so you have to be willing to kind of outwork a lot of other people. And I don't know, there's so much to it. But it's not impossible. It's not like you're saying, even, you know, they made it number 4 and there's people topping the charts independently all over the place. And that's awesome. It's doable.
And when you see what they're up against in terms of that,
right,
it's amazing. It is amazing, you know, because there are those artists out there. They're on, you know, they're on major deals. They're having major money pumped in behind them in terms of marketing. They're getting airplay because, you know, not because, you know, people at the radio stations like their music, but because somebody's paying someone to pay. Did I say that? Yeah, it's true. And that's been going on. That's been going on for years, right? But it's just lovely to see, and it's lovely to hear from people like you that then want to get there, succeed, and then pay back.
Yeah, absolutely.
How in that, moving forward, wanting to pay back, etc. How important for you is things like collaboration as well? Because collaboration is a great way of helping people step up within the process, but also developing you as an artist.
Yeah, collaboration is something that I have been.
Oh, you went for a second, but you're back.
Sorry, my phone was. I thought my phone was on Do Not Disturb, but I guess not. Yeah, I'm open to collaborations. I have gone through some painful processes with collaborations, and that's why I kind of was like, I'm just gonna focus on doing what I gotta do for me, you know, rather than get dragged down.
Yeah. But what would make it right for you there's got to be the spiritual connection there.
Yes.
Yes. Right.
For sure. So
But
I don't
what
know.
else?
It really depends. It really has to feel right, for one. And I think working with an artist that is about somewhat the same level as me or higher than me is typically the goal. And that's just because it's like cross what do they call it, cross promotion, you know?
Yeah. We'll take some of your network, you take some of ours, you know.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm so open to collaborations in the future. I've been creating a list of artists that I would like to work with, and they're all over the place. I'm open to it, because why not, you know? For me, it's kind of like the financial thing of what am I going to put into it, because I do believe that to just make a song with an artist and then not have a plan together to strategize the marketing of it properly, and having money to put behind it, what are we doing? And that's kind of why I haven't been hitting up artists in particular to work with. People have been hitting me up, and I'm kind of, you know, trying to figure out how to navigate what I want to do, what I don't want to do, what makes sense, what doesn't. Because
Yeah. Do you think part of it is because you don't want to necessarily just? It sounds to me, in terms of all of your music, you really put, and I don't say this disingenuously to other artists, but you put your absolute everything into it, emotionally,
oh yeah,
etc. So, in you don't want to just like top line over the top of something else that somebody else has written that you don't feel, it's like it doesn't resonate with, etc.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's for you. It's a real. It's not just a career looking at this would make sense, etc. It is like, if we're going to produce this piece of art, this piece of music, this piece of whatever, then this has got to. Actually, the most important thing is that, not us.
Yeah.
So you've almost got to work with people that you know, want to shine a light on whatever that does, as opposed to themselves.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and I just think that it takes both parties willingness to put in the effort, the time, the energy, the money behind pushing a record, if you believe in it, or an EP, or whatever the case. So there are so many artists in my area. You know, New York in general is a major place where music is made all over. And so there's a lot of artists who are not serious. There are artists who think they're serious. And then there are artists who are serious, and then artists who are super serious. You know, I like to consider myself a super serious artist. I would love to, if I have the time, which I don't have the time typically, just to collaborate just for fun, you know. But I think a lot of it is being smart about my time, money, and energy. And so, yeah. Yes.
Well, yeah, because if you're not smart about your time, money, and energy, you burn yourself out.
Yeah.
And you leave less of yourself for when there's time to do the thing that you really got to do.
Right.
So
yeah.
you've got to consider those things sometimes, and sometimes that means making really tough decisions and actually sacrificing sometimes as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, to make the time for the things that are really important. Listen, you've been fantastic to talk to today. For anybody that hasn't discovered your wonderful music yet, your art, shall we say, your aura, where would you like them to connect with you? Where's the place where you're building your family, your tribe?
I would definitely say Instagram. Instagram is where people are most actively engaging with me, which is awesome. And so yeah, Instagram at Sammie Bizzle, Sammie Bizzle, Bizzle. But wherever you are is cool. Facebook.
Yeah.
I don't even really do Twitter anymore. I don't know.
Well, here's an interesting one for you. This month, very recently, Snoop Dogg has actually joined LinkedIn. Interestingly, right?
That's interesting.
Very interesting. I've got a massive following on LinkedIn. It's a business platform, right? But actually, it might be a business platform, but there's a load of people on there that are really hungry to like make change in the world as well, and are really serious about it. And there's a lot of cross-pollination of really interesting conversations going on there about. And for me, I'm trying to bring musicians over into it, right? About how we can actually inform change in a lot of places, right?
Yeah.
Because actually, unless we actually get to some of these business people that actually hold the power, you know, and a lot of them aren't on Instagram. Instagram's a great place to find people that will support you with your music.
Right.
But if you want to make the change,
Right.
LinkedIn's a good place. Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah, and with you saying that, I'm thinking I definitely would like to. I've been thinking about making a LinkedIn. So I think that's a good thing for me to do.
I'd love to see you over there.
Yeah.
I will certainly give you a lift up.
I would love that.
A leg up over on there if you make your way over there. I'm sure my 21,000 people that follow me at the moment would be happy to welcome you into their little community. But I think musicians need to be over there. And I interestingly did a post over there the other day about musicians because I thought it was useful for a lot of business people to read it, that, you know, musicians are some of the greatest business people on the planet. Because you know what? They're doing it quite often whilst holding down another job as well, right? They're doing it because they love it. How many people out there that work don't actually love what they do, right?
Most probably, right?
Right? And we get told all the time, do what you love, right?
Yeah.
Musicians are doing what they love. And they would do it anyway, regardless of the money, right?
Yeah.
But they're making it work, and they've got that ambition and they've got that drive, because people like you want to make it work because you have a purpose. These are all great things that a lot of the business community could learn from, right? Stop focusing on making money. Focus on what your purpose is in the world first. The money will come if it's the right thing for the world.
Yes, I believe that.
Big stuff. Cool. We've really busted it today.
Yeah. And I know you had mentioned Spotify. My music's on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Deezer, Tidal, all of those lovely.
Well, I'm going to now go into my little rant, which I do at the end of every one of these, Sammie, and I hope you appreciate this. What I was going to say is, A, it's been an absolute pleasure, A, meeting you, and B, having the conversation with you today. I think you're a lovely soul, and I wish you all the best for the future with your music, because you will get there.
Thank
You
you.
will definitely get there. But also, I'd like to say to you folks, if you're listening and you're watching this over the next weeks and you're listening to it on the old Spotify and stuff, please do actually offer your support to Sammie and any of the other musicians you see on here throughout the week. That means don't just stream it. Where you can, give a little bit of money. Tip them, buy them a coffee, whatever. Tell them that you actually enjoy what they're doing, because it's almost like reading a book off the shelf but not ever talking to the author. The people behind all of this stuff really need to know that what they're doing is, because that's important for their well-being. and and share this with other people as well, because if together we support, we can elevate all of these people up, and really make a difference in the world. So if you like this, please support the artists. Go and check them out. Add them to your playlists. Yes, thank you so much, Jonathan. That's exactly what we like. There you are, Jonathan. Wishing you the best of luck. Definitely follow your music journey and support you.
Thank you so much.
That is what it's all about. If you've loved this today, then thank you so much. I don't know why, but you've got good taste, maybe. Do share it with your friends, subscribe, and all of those sort of malarkey things. And this has then been my music. If you didn't enjoy this today, or you didn't like it, and you just found it on the off chance, watched it and thought, oh gosh, what's that? Then I'm sorry, you've just got rotten taste. And this isn't actually my music. This has been an instructional video on how to remove those tiny flecks that you get on the wall before you actually repaint. And you can now do what you like with this video, as long as you reuse it and share it with other people. Until next time, this has been Graham with my music and my wonderful guest today, Sammie B. Do check her out.
Thank
you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye for now.
All right.